Honorable Adeyemi watched in utter shock as his beautiful wife took a spoon from the table and slid it into her bejeweled clutch. His own wife, dressed in the most expensive lace with matching custom-made diamonds, was stealing a spoon. "Sir," one of Adeyemi's aides called out, taking his attention away from the video. "Your opponent from AGB party just released a statement." Adeyemi started sweating. Once upon a time, there lived an ambitious young man. They called him Honorable Adeyemi Akindele, the man of the moment, a self-made billionaire, tech tycoon turned philanthropist, and now the man vying for a senatorial seat in his state. His face plastered on every billboard, his name on every tongue, and his campaign anthem blaring from every street corner. And by his side, his dazzling wife Titi, effortlessly elegant, always smiling, and always quietly dangerous. And if you look just a little to the left of Titi, you would often find her best friend, Amaka, the unofficial third wheel, the +1 to every high-profile event, and the kind of friend who hugged you with one arm and sized up your necklace with the other eye. Amaka and Titi had grown up together. From boarding school to bridal showers, they shared everything. Amaka envied her best friend Titi. She wanted Titi's life so badly. Her obsession with Titi's life was clinical. She would nag and compare her husband to Titi's husband. She would tell her investment banker husband, "Why can't you be more like Adeyemi?" No matter what Amaka's husband did, Amaka was never satisfied. She would go through the clothes in her already full closet and complain, "This is so last year. Titi has the latest from Milan." As for Amaka's body, she was already 3 surgeries deep, tummy tuck, BBL, and his not so subtle cheek lift, trying to look like her bestie. But unknown to Amaka, Titi was battling demons Amaka couldn't see until that fateful spoon incident. They had been invited to a party at Abuja where the creme de la creme would be present. Champagne flowed like water. The air smelled of imported roses and soft scandal. Titi wore diamonds that sparkled brighter than the chandelier above her. Amaka, of course, wore a tighter dress, trying unsuccessfully to compete with her friend. She had no idea that the next morning her friend would be trending. Early Sunday morning, Titi was indeed all over the news. However, the headlines weren't about the beautiful and expensive outfit she wore. No, the real headline read, "Senator's wife caught stealing spoon on CCTV." Adeyemi Titi's husband was in a strategy meeting when the video dropped. They were discussing campaign strategies when one of his aides drew his attention to the video. "Sir, there seems to be a problem," one of Adeyemi's aides said to him, passing his mobile phone to Adeyemi to watch a video clip. Adeyemi collected the phone and tapped on the screen, playing the video. There was Titi, his wife, at an occasion, and Adeyemi could see himself seated beside her. "What's the meaning of this?" Adeyemi asked, somewhat annoyed by the interruption. "Sir, please look closer," the young man said, while avoiding eye contact with Adeyemi. Adeyemi glanced at the video again, and he saw it. His beautiful wife grabbed a spoon from the table and slid it into her purse. The room froze. Adeyemi froze. He blinked, watched the video again and again, but his eyes were not lying. When he got home and showed Titi the video, she just smiled and said with all the grace of a psychopath while sipping papaya juice, "It must be AI. You know these deep fakes." Adeyemi was not convinced. Meanwhile, Amaka, who had watched the video too many times, was stuck between amusement and disbelief. She immediately screenshotted the video and sent it to some of her friends on WhatsApp. She captioned it, "Wahala be like spoon oh." A few weeks after, things had cooled down a bit and memes about Titi had died down. Even Amaka had stopped laughing about it. She was too busy having an affair with a young man who was into crypto and could afford her larger-than-life lifestyle. Then came the governor's daughter's wedding. Titi and Adeyemi were invited. Of course, so was Amaka. Thank God they didn't disinvite us, Adeyemi said, adjusting his agbada. The scandal is dead. Little did they know that a bigger scandal was underfoot. They all arrived at the wedding. Titi was a vision of simplicity and elegance, while her friend Amaka wore a replica of Titi's old dress. Tighter, shorter, shinier. "You know I had it flown in from Turkey," she bragged to her friend Titi. They wined and dined, spraying money like it was paper, and at the end of the day, they returned to their respective homes. But by the following week, Titi was trending even more than the governor's daughter. Fear not, she didn't steal another spoon. Sit tight, I will tell you what happened. That evening, Adeyemi had been lying in bed in the warm embrace of his beautiful wife when his phone started buzzing. Then, Titi's phone started ringing. Both calls delivered the same nightmare. Titi had been caught again, this time on a hidden CCTV camera, slipping a knockoff brooch into her clutch at a big jewelry mall. The irony was that while she was stealing a fake diamond brooch, she was wearing real diamonds. Amaka was in bed with her secret lover when a notification popped up on her phone. It was a CCTV footage. Amaka played the video. She zoomed in on the footage. "Wait," she whispered to herself. She quickly excused herself and ran into the bathroom. She played the video and truly it was her friend Titi stealing again. Amaka just couldn't understand how someone she envied could be having such a nasty habit. A woman with 3 walk-in closets, a chef from Cote d'Ivoire, diamonds, gold and silver, was stealing a fake diamond brooch. That night, there was fire at the Akindile's mansion. Adeyemi confronted his wife. "Titi, start talking now." And talk she did. She told him everything. It all began years ago. A silly mistake. As a teenager, she had taken her mother's gold bracelet to school, intending to return it. But when her mother noticed it was missing, she lined up the house staff. Panicking, Titi sneaked into the cook's room and dropped the bracelet in her bag. The cook, a quiet, humble woman named Mama Shade, was accused and fired. As Mama Shade wept by the gate, she whispered a curse. "Whoever put that bracelet in my bag will keep stealing until they confess or be ruined by their own hands." Titi never confessed. Years later, even after marrying a rich man, she couldn't stop stealing. Events, showrooms, charity galas, items mysteriously disappeared around Titi. Her hands moved before her mind did. That curse, it turns out, stuck like superglue. From then on, stealing became Titi's secret high. Not for need, not even for the items, but the thrill, the danger, the rush. Even at her own bridal shower, she had stolen someone's Chanel perfume. Adeyemi couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe that he was living with a thief. The following morning, Amaka lay in her room, watching the video over and over again. She couldn't believe her eyes. Then her husband came into the room. "You see your Titi now, your role model," Amaka's husband had said to her, mocking her. And just like that, Amaka's envy turned into confusion. 2 days later, Titi and Adeyemi drove to Titi's hometown. They had inquired about the cook from one of the gatemen in the hotel they had lodged. The gateman had told them that the cook, Mama Shade, had died about a year ago. Titi and her husband felt suddenly defeated. They had hoped that they would meet the cook and apologize to her so that she could take back the curse she had placed on Titi. They went back to their room completely defeated. They believed the gateman because Titi's hometown was a small community and everyone knew each other. It was past midnight in a penthouse suite Titi and her husband were lodged in. Though the hotel was the best in the community, a 4-star hotel, Titi and Deyemi felt suffocated. The news of the cook's passing had completely killed their morale. Titi and her husband sat in silence, sweating profusely, not because the air conditioning had failed, but because reality had set in. Titi was deep in thought, wondering how she was going to continue living as a klepto. Her husband, Honorable Adeyemi, was thinking about himself. Adeyemi muttered to himself, "Is it over? So my career is finished." A ping came from his phone. He picked it up, and there it was, the beginning of the end. A video of his political rival smirking during a press conference. Ladies and gentlemen, if a man cannot control his own household, how then can he manage a senatorial district? Next thing you know, cutlery will be disappearing from the National Assembly cafeteria. Reporters laughed, the audience laughed, but Honorable Kindele did not. Titi turned to her husband, tears threatening to collapse her carefully done lashes. "Yemi, please, I swear, I never meant to destroy you. I don't know what comes over me." But Adeyemi was mute. His eyes blank, his jaw clenched. He didn't say a word. Silence, after all, is louder than anger. The next morning, Titi called to tell her friend Amaka the situation of things. For the first time, Amaka couldn't laugh at her friend's predicament. Amaka stood in front of the mirror, completely bewildered. She looked at her surgically enhanced hips, her borrowed elegance, all done to copy a woman who had slowly been unraveling for years. She looked at her surgically enhanced hips, her borrowed elegance, all done to compete with a woman who she never knew was hiding such a terrible habit. Everything Titi had told Amaka had been shocking for Amaka to hear. She dropped her contour brush on the floor absent-mindedly and whispered to herself, "So, Amaka is a thief. She has been stealing since JSS 3? That night, Amaka couldn't sleep. She wondered what would become of Titi now that the cook was dead. Was she going to keep stealing for the rest of her life? If you're enjoying this video, please do give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and leave me a comment. What do you think of the story? Well, back to the story. Life wasn't done with Titi, at least not yet. The next morning, Titi awoke before the sun. Something in her spirit stirred, a longing, a pull. She grabbed her car keys and told her husband she needed to visit her father's house. It had been years since she had driven down that quiet lane. Flowers she used to pick now grew wild. Time had faded the house paint, but the memories stood bold. As she pulled into the compound, a figure emerged slowly from the side garden. It was Isaac, their old gardener. He was hunched and grey now, but the moment he saw her, his wrinkled face folded into a smile. "Ah, small madam," he exclaimed, "I no believe say na you." They exchanged pleasantries. "I heard Mama Shade died," Titi said, referring to the cook who had practically raised her on pounded yam and discipline. The old man shook his head. "No, Na her twin sister Seun wey die. Sade dey alive, but she dey bedridden now. Titi gasped, placing a hand over her chest. Can you take me to her? Isaac nodded with a tired smile. Make I change my clothes first, he said. He placed his old battered Nokia phone on the bonnet of Titi's luxurious black SUV and went inside to change. Titi waited, still feeling the ache of guilt in her bones. Moments later, Isaac returned, tightening his belt. Thank you so much, Isaac, she said. Taking me to Sade means a lot. He turned to grab his phone. It was gone. He blinked. I put my phone here. Before he could say more, Titi, cheeks flushing red, pulled out the phone from her handbag and stretched it out in silence. The old man stared at her, stunned. Then, without a word, he took the phone and slid it into his pocket, got into the car and shut the door. The old man was shocked. They arrived at the mother's house, tucked behind the church in the outskirts of town. Inside, Sade lay on a thin mattress, her body ravaged by age and illness, but her eyes were still sharp. Titi fell to her knees. Mama Sade, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for all the pain and humiliation I caused you. I am the one that stole Mommy's bracelet. Please forgive me. I have forgiven you, Mama Sade said. Tears streamed down Titi's face. Sade reached for her hand. God has forgiven you. I forgave you long ago. Go and live right. And then, for the first time in years, Titi felt whole. Months later, Honorable Adeyemi Akindele officially stepped down from the senatorial race. People said he bowed out gracefully, but insiders knew it was a painful decision made for love, not politics. Together, Titi and Yemi began rebuilding their home, not just the walls, but the trust that had cracked between them. Titi underwent intensive therapy, finally confronting the childhood trauma and the hidden impulses that fueled her kleptomania. She started an outreach program, Hands Off, Heart Open, offering therapy and medical help to others like her. She made sure she provided a comfortable life for Mama Sade. And for Amaka, oh Amaka, Titi's so-called best friend, who had quietly poisoned her own marriage by constantly comparing her modest husband to Titi's successful one. She had risked it all, underwent painful surgeries, liposuction, nose recontouring, even imported hip parts from Brazil, all to copy what she thought was Titi's perfect life. But perfection she learned too late was just an illusion in a borrowed handbag. Apart from Titi and her husband, another person that suffered enormous shock from the whole scandal was Amaka. She found it hard to believe that the woman she had looked up to and secretly envied was imperfect and had flaws Amaka herself wouldn't wish on her worst enemy. Her entire worldview crumbled, and so did her marriage. Her husband filed for legal separation. He said he missed the real Amaka, the one before the silicone implants and the lies. Never envy someone's sparkle until you know what it cost them. What glitters on the outside may be a cry for help on the inside. It has been an honor and a privilege spending this time with you. If you enjoyed this story, click on this video on the screen. I'm sure you're going to like it. See you there.